Okay, I guess I will start now. Not a good game. Uh, Not a good loss for the Nuggets. It's just me today. Asher, he's got some homework. We're rearing up on spring break, so a lot of the big assignments are starting to come due. So he's working on that. But yeah, this was not a good loss at all for the Nuggets. A horrible shooting. The starters made. I don't even think no, they didn't make it. I like Aaron Gordon made it 1-3 with like 10 seconds left, so that doesn't count. Um, but they didn't. They besides that three, starters went 0 for count this up. Jeff Green went 0 for 1. Aaron Gordon went 1 for 7, but we'll say 0 for 6. That's 0 for 7. Will Barton went 0 for 9. I'll talk about him later. He went 0 for 9. That's not good. So that's 0 for what 7 and 0 for 16. Then Jokic and Morris both went 0 for 4. So that is 0 for 24 from 3 if you don't count that last shot. And that is some of the worst shooting variance I have ever seen. Not just from the Nuggets, but from a team. Like that, it was horrible. The bench, once again, was kind of the saving grace for the Nuggets. It was the reason why they were even close. You look at Jokic's box score, it looks okay. 22 points on 10 of 17. He had 16 rebounds, but he really did not play well. And he hasn't played well for the last 3 games. OKC had they played very well against Jokic. They play very well against the Nuggets in general. They just match up well, and it's because they double extremely early. They clog the paint so Jokic can't do skip passes, and just in general, the starting lineup they didn't play well enough. Like they weren't moving. They were settling for way too many threes. It was just extremely tough. But yeah, the bench, I mean, JaMychal, this is the first loss in the DeMarcus Cousins era. Finally, it happened, which is tough. But once again, not really his fault. He had a good game once again, 6.7 rebounds, 4 assists. His playmaking off the bench has been huge. It's really kind of unlocked a different level of that offense. He had a steal, he had a block. He was a plus 15 highest for the Nuggets. Bones Highland, he had a great game. Him, Boogie, and Forbes are really the reason why this game was close at all, because every time they came in, they really stepped it up, and they really, they were making shots, they were playing defense, they were getting the crowd into it, and I mean, they were the only guys who made threes. Bones and Forbes by themselves, they were 10 of 17 from 3. That's great. I mean, that's incredible. You'll take your entire bench shooting 10 of 17 from 3, but literally everybody besides them made 1 combined 3, and that was Austin Rivers. So just really rough game. JaMychal Green, this was a fall. I think he was good. There were some good moments that he had in the first half. But the second half, he was a little non-existent. Defensively, I mean, Denver, they couldn't guard a stick tonight. That was the big key, and it wasn't just. I mean, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he kind of closed the game out. But Isaiah Roby was the star of this game. He had 26 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. And I mean, that's insane. He was the best player on the court. 4 or 5 from 3, which is, I mean, what's he shooting from 3? Let me see. There's no way he's shooting well from. Oh, well, he's shooting 38% from 3, actually. That's pretty good. That's really good for him, actually. But in his last 10, he's shooting 20%. So it's not like he's been scorching it up. And he goes 4 for 5. Just really bad shooting luck for Denver. But I think even if there was good shooting luck for Denver, I think they probably still lose this game. I mean, like, the offense was just so bad. I mean, it was just so bad. The starters especially. I mean, this is something that I never say, but like, Jokic shouldn't have come into the game at the end. Like I've never even thought of that as something that that should happen. But Jokic should not have closed. I think I think Boogie got tired, and I think they're trying to cap him at 15 to 20 minutes a game, and you could tell he was kind of gassed at the end there. But Jokic was like, the second he came in, it was 99-98. Bryn Forbes had just made a 3. It was 99-98. Denver was down 1. They were making a run for it. And then Jokic comes in and the entire offense stalled. Everything went away. This was one of the weirdest games that I've ever seen watching Denver. But I mean, they got outplayed on almost every single part of like the game. I mean, they got out rebounded. They had one more assist, but the ball movement really wasn't great. Same amount of steals, but they had 4 less blocks. They turned it over more. They had more fouls. And yeah, they shot 12 of 46 from 3. Denver should not be a team shooting 46 threes a game. They do not have the shooters, especially in the starting lineup, which shot 24 threes by themselves. Like Aaron Gordon should not be shooting 7 threes a game. That's just not something he should be doing. I don't care how good he's feeling. Like if he's feeling good about it and he makes his first few, then yeah, and he keeps making them, go for it. But I mean, he started 0 for 6. Why like after you go 0 for 3, why are you shooting 3 more after? It just makes zero sense. I really just didn't get it. Denver was so jump shot reliant tonight. And that was kind of their doom, because every time they got in the, Isaiah Roby, he had a great game, but the Thunder, they didn't play Derek Favors, and he's the only big on this roster right now with Mike Muscala hurt. So they were playing with very limited size, and Denver could not take advantage of it. This is a game that they should have won. OKC, they always look down on them. I don't know what happens with it, but they always look down on them. Monte Morris is a bad game for him. It's really legitimately a bad game for everybody except the bench. Like, this is a horrible game. Will Barton went 1 for 10, 0 of 9 from 3. He is really, really pressing about the 3-point record. He's 1 3 away from tying J.R. Smith from becoming the all-time leader in Nuggets history in 3-pointers made. Ever since the second Kings game, he went 3 for 8 in that one, and he got 1 3 away, and he is 0 for 13 since, I believe. Now probably 0 for 15 now. He's just thinking about it too much. They even talked about it in the press conferences yesterday and earlier in the game today. Like, he's just thinking about it. They're thinking about it too much. I mean, his first 5 shots today were threes. Just not a good game overall for Denver. I want to talk about the Thunder though. And this is going to come off as an insult, but I don't mean it to come off as an insult. I legitimately did not recognize anybody off the bench except Theo Maledon. Like, I didn't know anybody. I did not recognize a single name off the bench. Vit Krejci, we talked about him a little bit, but like, I don't know what he looked like. I don't know what his game was. He apparently is a good shooter. He went 3 for 3 from downtown. Olivier Sarr, once again, we talked about him like when we were doing our thing on Sunday. He had a decent game. And Lindy Waters, I think is this guy's name. Yeah, Lindy Waters, the dude. He doesn't even have a picture on ESPN. He played pretty like that. I props to that bench, because they got obliterated by Denver's bench, but the minutes that they played against the starters, they kept it even somehow, and that was the key to the game. SGA, he is special. I mean, he is so good. He had 7 turnovers tonight, and I think Aaron Gordon, he did the best he could, and they played the passing lanes really well. But I mean, he plays at his own pace so well, and he just knows exactly what he's going to do every single time. He's so slippery. He's got an extremely tight handle. He's got like a I don't know how to describe it, but he's got like a Jimmy to him. Like, if he doesn't, like, if you can't stay in front of him, is basically like, he just has this type of twitch that like nobody else in the league really has. And his first step is extremely quick. He's got a handle. His jumper has improved so much since he got in the league. And it's not even that his jumper was bad. It's just he's made it way cleaner. He's made it so he can shoot off the dribble much better. And he hit a few threes in this game where it's like, wow, like, he wasn't going to do that, even 2 seasons ago. Last year, he had a really good season. This year, I thought he should have been an all-star. I think he would have been an all-star if he didn't get hurt. But he is incredible. I think there's the Stat Muse account on Twitter posted something really stupid a couple days ago about SGA like going off and the Thunder still losing. It's like, oh, when is he going to get tired of the losing? Like shut up. Like he is an exceptional talent. They're also missing Lou Dort, who's been hurt for a long time. Josh Giddey hasn't played the last few games. Once they get healthy and they start to put some more vets around this, because literally every single guy, like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I'm pretty sure is the oldest guy playing in this game for the Thunder, and he's like 23. That's insane. So once they start to put some more, I mean, I know they have Derek Favors and they have Mike Muscala, but they need some like better veterans, like legit veterans, who are going to give them actual good minutes. I know like Favors and Muscala are good, but just round out in terms of like you can't have Vit Krejci and Lindy Waters for the bench the entire season. Once they get some more vets out there, just to kind of shore up some of the mistakes that some of these younger guys are going to make, this team is going to be competitive because they're like bad, but they're not bad because of talent. They're bad just because like they're extremely young, and in certain games they're just going to get out muscled, they're going to get out matured. But you know, they have games like this. That's pretty impressive. So Thunder, they have a very bright future. They're going to get a high pick this year again. And you know, they get a guy like me, Chet Holmgren. Sorry, get a guy like Chet Holmgren, Jabari Smith in the draft. They got that backcourt set. Giddey, SGA, and Dort. That backcourt is absolutely set. But you get another guy in the front court, and that team starts to become really, really dangerous and starts to become pretty entertaining. So they have a bright future. This is a good game for them. They just play Denver really well in the way that they double team Jokic. Jokic hasn't had a good game against the Thunder this entire season. So it's a good win for them. Like I don't want to say bad loss, but just like a weird loss for Denver. In terms of other news for the Nuggets, it was confirmed. I think we might have talked about it a little bit in our past live stream on Sunday, but Michael Porter Jr. is going to be back in the next couple of weeks. I talked about this with some friends last night. He'll probably come back the week of the 20th through the 26th. Denver has a homestand that week. So expect him to come back at some point then. He's going to be clear for contact. I would assume tomorrow or Friday, he's going to go up. Probably Friday, he's going to go up to Grand Rapids in Michigan, and he's going to scrimmage with them, play a game with them maybe. And then he's just going to start getting more contact and start getting conditioning-wise ready to play. And that's going to be really, really fun because in a game like this, when Denver starters just completely poop the bed in terms of shooting the ball, a guy like MPJ would have literally saved the Nuggets. Like they saved the Nuggets. That I think that I think it's just going to be so fun when he comes back. And I think Asher and I have kind of like talked about this a little bit in terms of like, is Jamal coming back? Is MPJ going to come back first? Like we didn't really know, but it is MPJ. I think a lot of people had some misunderstandings, including us, about his surgery. It wasn't like a legit surgery. Like the surgery he had in college was to fix a herniated disc in his back, which is like legitimately very serious. But the surgery he had now was just to kind of move. It might have had something to do with the disc, but it was more so to move around a nerve in his back that was pressing on the disc, and it just like wasn't. It was shooting down pain down his legs. It wasn't allowing him to lift. Which is why he shot so terribly to start the season. So that was the surgery that he had. Pretty quick recovery, honestly, only like 4-ish months. And he's back. He looks really good in his warm-ups. So once he comes back, this lineup is gonna look really, really weird. Because I honestly like the way the bench is playing right now. Like I think the bench right now should be the bench for the rest of the season. Oh my goodness, I don't know why I'm yawning so much. I think this bench should be the bench for the rest of the season if Jamal does not come back, which I'll touch on in a bit. But like I think Jeff Green, he has just been really bad for like a month now. He had a couple good dunks today. But like, I mean, he had 8 points, but he had 0 blocks, 0 steals, 0 assists, 0 rebounds. He has just been extremely non-existent defensively. So I think that Denver is just going to kind of wait until, or at least this is what I would do if I was Michael Malone. I would wait until Michael Porter Jr. comes back, and then you start MPJ as soon as you can, and you don't play anybody else, and or you don't mess with anything on the bench because it's working so well, and you might just have to sit Jeff Green because he just is not. I don't. He's not like rotation player material right now, and that really sucks to say because he was really good for, about a month, but since that stretch, he has really, really, really struggled to find a rhythm, find a role in the starting offense. He's not shooting well enough to be like a catch and shoot 3-point guy, and he's not good enough to ISO on his own to be there. So he's kind of just floating around all the time, and it's really awkward for him and for everybody else to kind of navigate through that. And defensively, he's just slow. He can jump high in that terms, and he's fast athletically, but his lateral quickness is gone. He is mentally, defensively, he just like is not good either. He doesn't. He's lost a lot of the times. He's not a good rebounder. He never has been a good rebounder in his career, but that's something that's been very apparent without Michael Porter Jr. is how good he was at rebounding and how apparent, how needy that was for the starting lineup. But so I personally, I would just like not play Jeff Green, and I would keep this bench lineup the way it is. It really sucks for Zeke Nnaji as well because he didn't do anything wrong and he just got hurt kind of freakishly. I mean, he was fine and just all of a sudden he popped up on the injury report. Oh my gosh, he popped up on the injury report, and then boom, he's out for 3 weeks. It's so weird. So he's also a guy who would have helped in this, a guy who can put up threes and make threes in your front court. So that's just so that's a decision that I think Malone is probably. I don't know what Malone's going to do with that. There's a lot of ways that he could go. He's not going to sit Cousins. If he does sit Cousins, I'm going to freak out because Cousins is very, very key for this offense, the bench offense, and just for the team in general. It allows people, I think it allows JaMychal Green to play his natural position. Which I also think, like, if you play Jeff Green and DeMarcus Cousins, this is something that I think Denver should tinker with until Michael Porter Jr. gets back. Maybe you start JaMychal Green, you bench Jeff Green, you see how Jeff Green works with the bench to see if that works better or if JaMychal Green and DeMarcus Cousins works better, just to see about some things and trying to fix rotation woes before they happen when MPJ gets back. And then in terms of the Murray stuff, when he comes back, that is going to be interesting as well, because I mean, there's games like this. I mean, there's games like Bones Hyland is going to have games like this where you're like, okay, he has to play. But then there's gonna be games. I mean, he's had games this season where you look at him and he's like, okay, like he's just like he's not ready yet, which is fine. I mean, he's a rookie. This is his first season playing in the NBA. He was not expected to have this much of a workload. He shouldn't have had to have this much of a workload. But, there's certain circumstances that forced it to be this way. I think Austin Rivers has cemented himself into this rotation. I think he's playing too well on both sides of the ball. What is going on? Jesus. I think he's cemented himself into the rotation because he's played so well. He's shooting the three good. Let me see. I'm sure his last 10 games shooting the three ball. Oh, that's weird. He's shooting 32% from three his last 10, but he's shooting 35% from three on the season, which is pretty good. But it really his defense is what is the key. He's the only good defender perimeter wise in that entire bench unit, so you kind of have to play him. Bryn Forbes is the volume 3-point shooter that you have on the bench, and you have to play him. So if Jamal Murray does come back and he starts immediately, Bones is kind of the odd man out. But I mean, it also could be Forbes, like, because I don't know, like maybe Bones is the guy you only play at home, and Forbes is the guy you play on away games. There's the bench guard rotation. There's going to be a lot to figure out when Jamal Murray comes back, if he even comes back, because I am having some worries about it. Talked about it earlier. Markelle Fultz comes back and he comes back after 14 months. And yes, that is that's a tanking team. It's not a team that's, going to win now. They don't need him back. He can take as much time as he needs to get healthy. Denver, unfortunately, does not have that luxury with Jamal Murray. They're a championship team. They want to win a championship this season. So they're going to want him back as fast as he himself feels ready. And I don't know. I don't think he's going to come back this season. And maybe that's just me being pessimistic. But if he were to come back, it would probably be April-ish. They would want his first game to be a home game. Oh, my God. What the heck is going on? I'm so sorry. They would want his first game back to be a home game because, it's Jamal Murray has to play at home for the first time. So he would maybe come back, and that same week Michael Porter Jr. comes back. But if that were the case, he would have to get cleared for contact pretty dang fast, like in the next 5 to 6 days. He would have to get cleared for contact. And I don't see that happening based on how he looks in his warmups. He's not doing anything at game speed yet. He's not. He could be doing stuff at game speed, behind the scenes, but in pregame warmups, he's not doing anything at game speed. And in pregame warmups, Michael Porter Jr., 2 weeks ago, he started doing stuff at game speed. So it's maybe like I think the Nuggets want to stay as secretive with it as possible. Because I think the only reason why the MPJ news even got out is because MPJ messed up and commented under Isaiah Thomas's post and was like, "Hey, I'm about to see you next week." And all the Twitter detectives, including myself, were like, "Oh my God, what does that mean? Where is he going?" We were right, because it means that he's going to Grand Rapids. So that's that. Like, I think they want to stay as secretive as possible with it. So if he does leave, if Jamal is cleared, it's gonna come the day he's cleared, or it's not gonna come the day he's cleared. It's gonna come like the day he leaves. I don't think there's gonna be any notice about it. He's just gonna go and they're gonna tell us, because I think that's how the Nuggets want to play it. Because there's been zero updates on how he's going. It's literally just been 5-minute snippets that reporters are showing us of his pregame warmups. We have no clue what's going on behind the scenes with him. Obviously, we're assuming it's all good, but we have no clue. So that's just my concern with it. I think Denver can still make a deep playoff run without Jamal Murray. I do not think they can win a championship without him. It's just going to be really tough. I think you saw it last season. They didn't struggle against Portland, but Portland 100% gave them a run for their money. I think that Jamal Murray, if he's there, they sweep. And I think if Will Barton is there, they sweep. If PJ Dozier is there, they sweep. But if Denver is only missing Jamal Murray, they have a shot. But at that point, if you're getting close to the finals and you still don't have Jamal Murray, then I'm probably going to get worried. But if you make it to the second round and Jamal's not playing at that point, there's going to be some questions being asked. So that's just my thoughts on it. Obviously, I have no clue. I don't have sources on this yet. I'm just going off of what's, my hunches and what's being told to the general public. So yeah, this will go into the remaining games that happened, and then I'll call it a stream. No Asher here, so it's just all of my opinions. So it's going to be much shorter. New Orleans beats Sacramento, and that Sacramento trade is looking worse and worse and worse. It's not even that Sabonis is a bad player. It just doesn't make any sense for them to have traded for him. Pelicans look really, really solid. CJ McCollum has kind of changed that. I saw a stat before the CJ McCollum trade. The Pelicans were 28th in half-court offense. They are now third since that. Since that point in time, they're third in the NBA. He has completely changed that. I think Herb Jones has been incredible for him. I think that if Zion Williamson gets healthy in the next 4 weeks and he's able to play, and New Orleans is able to make a play-in tournament, that's going to be a dangerous team. And I am dreading the matchup that they play when they play against Denver in a couple days, because that's going to be that offense is legit. I mean, you have two elite perimeter scorers. Brandon Ingram, he had 33 points on 15 of 19, only taking 3 threes. Like two elite perimeter scorers. They had their entire starting lineup scoring double figures, and also Najee Marshall somehow. Like that you got Jonas inside. Jackson Hayes, they moved him to power forward. He's played really well. They're staggering him with the second unit. This is a team that's got potential. They have talent to be a playoff team. They just need Zion to come back and be healthy if he is not being a wimp about it. Yeah, I think New Orleans can be good. Miami and Milwaukee, this is a really good game. Unfortunately, I didn't get to watch it, but this is a really good game. I know Miami was up like a lot in this game. They were up 14 in the fourth. They were up. Yeah, Gabe Vincent with 7:12 left made a 26-foot 3-pointer. It was 113.99, and I saw this score, and I was like I'm pretty sure I saw this exact score, and I'm like, all right, there's no point in watching. But I mean, they went on a huge run. Milwaukee went on a huge run. And they closed it out. It was 113.99 with 7 minutes left. Miami only scored 6 points in those next 7 minutes. Milwaukee's defense really clutched up. At least just looking at this, I saw a couple possessions here and there, but Milwaukee, I think there's only a couple teams in the East that are legit. I think Milwaukee's legit. I think Miami is legit, and I think Philly is legit. Every other team is kind of a wild card. They could be legit. They could not be. Just looking at this box score, Jimmy Butler, I saw on Twitter, people were, oh my God, he had a horrible game. 2 of 14, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, minus 21 in a 1-point game. That is awful. Only had 6 points. Just as we were praising him last episode. Oh Jesus. Yeah, their bench, Tyler Hero's been incredible for them. He had 30 tonight. Caleb Martin or Cody Martin? Caleb Martin. He's the Heat guy. He's been pretty good for them too. They signed him to a 2-way. So I think Miami's legit. They just, like, if Jimmy doesn't go 2 for 14 in a playoff game, I think they'll be all right. And they didn't even have Kyle Lowry in this game, so I'm not worried about this as a loss. So I think Miami's legit. Milwaukee, I think, is legit. Giannis, Middleton, and Holiday, I mean, they were the driving forces of this win, it looks like. Holiday with 25, and he had the game winner. Giannis had 28 and 17, huge game for him. Middleton with 26, and this is what we were talking about last time with Giannis. Like, Drew Holiday's the guy who can take the last shot, but Giannis is the one who kind of got him there. I mean, he 28, 17, and 5, 2 steals on a block. You don't get to that point if Giannis isn't playing like that. So Milwaukee's built really well. I think they've kind of settled into like the championship mode where they don't really care about they don't really care about the regular season anymore. It's really all about the playoffs. So but wins like this against contenders are huge. Utah beat Houston. I watched this. Houston has these games where they just refuse to miss from 3. 21 of 51. Kevin Martin Jr. 4 of 8 from 3. That's not going to happen again. Jalen Green, he had a really good game. Finally, he's been extremely inefficient, but he's had a good game. Christian Wood had a good game. Kevin Porter had a good game. Jae'Sean Tate, I love Jae'Sean Tate. He had a decent game. This team is interesting. The Rockets. Oh my God. Sorry. This team is interesting to me. I like Houston's future, but I think, like, I don't see any of the guys I have on the roster as like franchise cornerstones. I think Jalen Green has to make a pretty big leap in year 2 for me to think that he can be that guy. But who knows? It's definitely possible. I'm not like counting it out yet, but he has to have some improvement in that area. So, but yeah, Utah, they shot 54% from the field. Rudy Gobert, he had a good game, 27 points, 17 rebounds. Donovan Mitchell had some huge threes down the stretch. He had 37 and 10 assists. His evolution as a playmaker has been really fun to watch, and that unlocks a whole new element for Utah's offense. Bogdanovich, good game. Daniel House has played really well for Utah. That's been a huge pickup for them. I think Utah is kind of the only team that can match Denver with size, which is why I really am dreading a first round matchup with them. But I think that that's likely where Denver's headed. If they're able to kind of keep this momentum up and get the 5 seed, it's probably going to be a 4-5 matchup with Utah. And I'm really dreading that because they run Whiteside with the bench and Rudy Gay at the 4. They match up really well with Denver on that bench unit. So that's something that I'm dreading. But Utah is still good. They're still good. I don't trust Utah in the postseason at all. They might be the team I trust the least in the postseason, if I'm being quite honest. Philly and New York, Harden and Embiid once again had really good games, but this is something that I'm worried about. They had 33 free throws again. They're averaging 40 over their first 3 games, which is terrifying. New York, they had 32, but they missed 10. I know New York was up like 15 in the first half, and then they just completely fell apart. But yeah, this duo with Harden and Embiid, lethal. It's gonna be lethal, and it's something that should be terrifying for the NBA. Like Harden, 26, 9 and 9. It's only 3 turnovers. That is really, really good. Embiid 27 and 12. Just adds a whole new element. You can stagger with the second unit. That was not something that I know Sixers fans hated about Doc Rivers. It's something that Clippers fans hated about Doc Rivers. He would consistently go to 5-man bench lineups, and it's something that Michael Malone does, but I think it's a little different situation. But because they have the capabilities of doing a 5-man bench lineup, like Philly does not have the capabilities of running a 5-man bench lineup. So the fact that you have Harden and Embiid, you can stagger them, and it makes them really, really dangerous. Harden or Embiid can both feast on second units, like an insane amount. The Knicks, I don't even know if I want to talk about the Knicks. They're just not a good team right now. I think last year I wasn't even high on them. We'll go back to our predictions before the season ends, and we'll talk about them and like see what we said and everything. But yeah, I like that season last year was 100% a fluke. Like this is not a good team. They should have traded for somebody. RJ Barrett's been good over the past few games. I think he had 50 or 49, 50 points recently against Miami. So that was cool. But like Julius Randle, it's good that they didn't give him a max deal because he is not like that. Mitchell Robinson, his free agency decision is going to be weird, and they need to start developing Miles McBride. Cam Reddish needs to play more minutes. Obi Toppin needs to play more minutes. You just got to start developing these younger guys instead of giving them to guys like Alec Burks. No, I don't have anything against Alec Burks. I just think that he doesn't fit with the vibe of that team. Orlando and Indiana, they went into an overtime game. This is going to be my Gary Harris watch. Oh, he only played 10 minutes. Markelle Fultz is back. He had 11 points in 15 minutes. Markelle being back is going to create an interesting thing between Terrence Ross and Gary Harris. I think one of those two is going to get bought out. Unfortunately, I think it's Terrence Ross, but it's going to be interesting to see that. Tyrese Halliburton, I really like him. I like his fit with this team. Indiana's not really doing anything. They're 20 games under 500, but he's a building block for them. I love how they were able to get Jalen Smith for like essentially nothing. I mean, they gave up Torrey Craig, but group of vet guy for not a cornerstone, but somebody who you can like build around and kind of use well around Tyrese Halliburton. So I really like this team. I like how they're built. Malcolm Brogdon probably is going to have to be traded in the offseason. I think he's too old to be with them, but yeah. Well, Cleveland, they got rolled in a game where they played Garland and Allen Mobley. Oh, that's interesting. Garland had a really good game. Yeah, what happened? How did they lose by so much? Oh, Terry Rozier, he had one of those games, and Kelly Oubre. Isaiah Thomas, good game for him. 10 points in his return. IT is in such a weird spot right now in terms of his like where he is. in his like NBA career because he's too good. He played in the G League for like 5 games. He's averaging 40. It's ridiculous. So he's obviously too good for the G League, but I don't think he's good enough to play heavy minutes on an NBA roster. He's just like he's in an extreme purgatory. Same. It's like Nick Stauskas, he went off today, very similar to him. Oh, what, LaMelo Ball only played 8 minutes. He got hurt or something? I didn't see anything about this. Obviously he got hurt. He only played 8 minutes, but there's no news on him. No, latest highlight is from 5 days ago, so I'm assuming he got injured. That really sucks for them. Man. Yeah, that stinks. Terry Rozier, he carried it. Ever since the Gordon Hayward injury, Charlotte's really been like blood juice. So they need him back bad. Miles Bridges had a good game. Yeah, I don't have much to say about that. Cleveland's been kind of scuffling out of the All-Star break. They need to pick it up. But yeah, Charlotte also has to start picking it up. Hold on, give me 1 second. I gotta check in for my flight. A55. Pretty good. All right. Last game of the day is Phoenix and Portland. Devin Booker's going to play in this game, and Phoenix is still up 22. Cam Payne's back. That's huge for them. I think that's massive for them in the absence of Chris Paul. DeAndre Ayton having a good game. I really don't care about this game. It's obvious the Blazers are getting run out of the gym. Probably as expected. But yeah, I think that's it for this one. Nothing else that I really got to say. This is a weird loss. Jesus Christ. Every single time. I don't know why. Turning off the thing. I don't really have anything else to say. Hopefully Michael Porter Jr. can come back healthy. I'm really looking forward to his return. Same thing with Jamal. I just don't know when that's going to happen. Denver, who did they play next? Let me check this out, actually. No, they play Friday. They play the Rockets. Okay. Rockets are another team that's played Denver well. So hopefully they don't, play down to them. Hopefully the starters can make more than 1 3. That would be appreciated. Yeah, we will. I will see if we'll stream. I'm not 100% sure. I will be back home in Colorado, so we're trying to figure it out. I won't have my PC with me, so we'll figure it out. But thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.